Hello and welcome to Blue Army TV. I'm sitting here after Carlisle have lost 2-0 at home to Chesterfield to continue our absolutely abhorrent run at home in the last, never mind season, just say a year. The whole of 2024 hasn't really been great at home. But yeah, we end the our last game before Christmas with a loss to end our 5-game unbeaten run. I'll call it 4 because I'm not counting the Papa John's or whatever it's called now. But yeah, it's a result that leaves us bottom of the league. Ironically, I'm pretty sure that if we'd have only lost 1 today, with Morecambe losing the way that they did in the other game today, we would have got off bottom of the league just by not getting beat by 2. But, with some absolutely horrendous defending today from, I don't want to individualise it, but, Aaron Hayden had a very bad game today. We remain bottom of the league. And we remain, only if we win our game in hand, we're out of the relegation zone. But winning a game seems to be very foreign to us at the minute, so I'm not going to count on that. It's really, really disappointing today because it was. I do think there was some positives. I think we missed a lot of good chances, especially Georgie Kelly when he came on. He missed 3 very good chances. In another world today, we win that 3-1, and Georgie Kelly scores all 3 of them golden opportunities that he should have scored from. He leaves with a hat-trick, man of the match, and we say what a good performance. But the first goal, it comes through some bad midfield play. We lose the ball. Aaron Hayden seems to be the only man back, which was strange. And he gets sat down, and we concede. And then second half, some really poor defending from Aaron Hayden again, who misplaces a clearance, just taps it straight to the man right in front of him. We concede again, and Chesterfield score from their only real chances of the game. After what I will say, it's been a while since we've played, and I think the game getting called off really killed the momentum. I think we were starting to build with some good performances, because even the games that we drew, even though they're not 3 points, a lot of them probably should have been with some of the way we've played. But we were starting to put together a good run of results, and we were starting to put together a good run of performances with a team that seemed to be clicking a little bit. So obviously Mike Williamson saw that and thought, I'm going to change the team completely. I'm going to ruin that momentum. I'm going to play players out of position, and we'll see how that goes. And it went about as well as you would expect. Yes, there was some injury concern, and Kadeem Harris not being in the squad at all, I'd imagine probably means that he was injured. That hasn't been confirmed, I don't think. It's weird because I do listen to Mike Williamson's interviews, but he's so boring and dull when he speaks that it's kind of in one ear out the other. I just kind of zone out when he's speaking, and I know a lot of people feel the same way. Can't imagine being in that changing room, but look, inverted fullbacks didn't work. Don't try that ever again. Dominic Sadie, he was doing so well attacking wise. He was one of our biggest attacking threats. So what do? We decide to put him as a fullback. And we start without really a striker on the pitch. What's Luke Armstrong done? Luke Armstrong, for me, appeared to be a player that I think he suits Mike Williamson's style of play with the way he can hold up the ball and the way he passes. Not even in the squad, and I think the striker had to come on at half time, and that did happen with the substitution of Georgie Kelly. But it makes you wonder, and it was just some small decisions, like the way we made the subs. We made a sub, and then the next time player was stopped, we made another, which meant that we couldn't make 5 substitutions because we've already stopped the game in 3 places. When we're making 1 sub, then a 1, then a 2. Make that last 2 breaks in play, put them together. They were right next to each other. They were within a few minutes of each other, and because you've done it like that, we now can't make another substitution. Which when you've got the very injury-prone Georgie Kelly up front, with I think half an hour left to go when he did this, you want to have a substitution spare, put it that way. And look, that's not why we lost the game, and obviously that didn't end up coming back to bite us. But it was lots of small little errors like that. Some of the passing out from the back just doesn't happen. We never seem to beat the press. It doesn't seem to be worth it. I like some of our passes in midfield, I do, but so many times we just turn around and look for the pass back. It's so frustrating because sometimes there's a pass on, sometimes you can pass forward or try something, try a little cross-field ball to the man out wide, and we were getting some success in them wide areas because Chesterfield left us a lot of space out wide. We didn't expose it. I think the midfield, which has been our biggest strength lately, when we've had Callum Guy, Harper in there, with Sadie moving forward, that's been one of our strongest areas. So what have we done in response to that? We've dropped Callum Guy to the bench for Dylan McGeoch, who, look, I like McGeoch, but he's not as good as Callum Guy. And we'll put Sadie right back for some reason, and then put Josh Vila, who's been underwhelming all season, underperforming all season, we'll give him the role at number 10, which he's never played before, or at least not for us. And obviously, I think he made a couple of good tackles early on, but that's not what he's there to do in that role. And even if that was his role, after the first 5 minutes, he just kind of ghosted and, misplaced passes. There was a few that didn't perform today. I think the midfield we really lost, which was so frustrating when we seemed to have found a working formula with the midfield that we've just abandoned today. And look, I don't like having Williams at left back, but I'd much rather have him there than Sadie when you're wasting his attacking threat by putting him there. Bury's done really well off the right since he came in. I don't particularly like him as a right back, but he can go forward and he's done okay in that role, and you're now changing his role to a left wing back. You're changing too much for a team that's where it is in the league. We need to build consistency, and we were starting to do that. So why on earth have you changed everyone's roles, changed the system, changed the personnel, and completely killed any sign of momentum that we were starting to build? It just doesn't make sense to me. Yes, you can't play Kadeem Harris, I get that, but we've got like-for-like replacements. Don't change the whole system just because you can't play Kadeem Harris. I think Sam Lavelle was probably our best defender again. I think John Mellish was probably our best attacking threat, which is concerning when he's a centre-back. I think he was probably man of the match today, and he did get man of the match today. Another thing I want to mention that it really bugged me, the Warwick Road end today, and I'm not saying this against any fans or anything like that, but what on earth is that light? What on earth? It looks artificial. It takes away from what I think the Warwick Road end is, because, it's a really organic, raw kind of passion in that end. I can maybe understand putting some of the blue lights on before kick-off, but what on earth are you doing flashing red lights when we concede? What? I've seen, pyrotechnics and lights go off, and I think Stoke did it not so long ago, when the team would score a goal, but don't do it for the other team. Don't, if you're standing in the Warwick and you've just seen your team concede a stupid goal like we did today, the last thing you want is for all of a sudden there to be loads of red, depressing lights flashing over you. Because that's what it was. It was a red light to show, red, obviously negative, we've conceded. That's what it was. And that's the last thing you want if you stand in the Warwick Road end. And then at half-time it went to like a rainbowy colour. And it's just like, just stop doing it. It looks tin pot. It looks really plasticky, really artificial, and it's just not what the Warwick Road end is and what it should be. I mean, can you imagine trying to do that over the paddock? It just wouldn't work, would it? It's not something I'm a fan of. You can, I think at times, when they just made it light, just made it white light to kind of, illuminate the Warwick Road end, I think that did work well. But when you put coloured lights on, like, blue before the match, red when we concede, it takes away from what the Warwick Road end really is, which is just that kind of raw emotion. You're making it, I hate to say it, but it does feel very American. It feels very made up, very artificial, where it's like, we'll tell you how to react. almost like a lot of MLS games, you'll get people who are employed by the club to start chants. And everything like that needs to come from the fans. There shouldn't be a red light telling you when to boo it becomes very pantomime, is all I'm saying, and it's just not a thing I'm a fan of. But yeah, a lot of negatives from today, and it's really frustrating when we've been on a good run of late, and we've just got to fix our home form. Yes, the crowd got on the backs of the players today, but rightfully so, in my opinion. I think you need to start showing us something else, because whether it's effort, fitness, confidence, I don't know, but they just look far too lethargic. They don't look confident, they won't try things, they look slow, and something needs to change. So, and it's just from today, and it seems to be more at home than away, because I do think most of our good performances this season have come away from home. But look, these are the fans that are paying to watch you. These are the supporters that are supporting you. Give them something to cheer for, or that home attendance is just going to keep dropping the way it has been. But yeah, I'll stop now. I'll stop ranting at you. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe I'm way off with the whole lighting situation, and maybe it's a bit of an overreaction, considering it's our first loss in 6. But there was a lot wrong today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and in a bit.